What's up, everyone? It is 2022. You knew that. We're already in February right now, and we are here in beautiful Connecticut.
Indeed.
And I am here with my amazing co-hosts, Erica and very, very handsome sound guy, Ryan.
The most handsome.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah, no problem. Erica, you look handsome as well.
Oh, thanks. I try every morning.
Every morning.
Am I handsome enough for Matt?
I don't have to try.
Yeah, it's just not.
It's true, right.
Actually, it's funny. I
He's
did
lucky like
see both of you get ready this morning. Full disclosure, we stayed over in Connecticut, New Haven,
Yeah.
West Haven.
West Haven.
Or North Haven.
No, it was
It was
West
West.
Haven.
West Haven?
Yeah.
Yep. It was a lovely Hampton Inn.
It really was. It was quite nice.
Quite a charming continental breakfast we had this morning.
Indeed.
But I have to say, I couldn't even look at food this morning, but I still ate. Like, I ate. Ryan, how much food did I eat last night?
All of it.
Yeah, metric fuck ton of food. Let's see. You had all the pizza.
Yeah, so we went to Sally's Pizza.
Yeah,
which,
so-
in my opinion, is the best pizza in New Haven.
It was great.
I don't know. Do you agree or disagree, Phil?
Ooh, interesting. I'm modern than Sally's.
So we are right
Okay.
around the corner from Modern, so I think we do probably have to grab a slice or something. So we got the potato pizza.
Yep, and then a cheese pizza.
They
Yeah.
call it tomato pie with cheese, but
Oh.
whatever.
Whatever. Classic.
I didn't tell
It was
you
great.
guys that. I just didn't.
No.
Yeah, I didn't tell you.
And then on the drive down, Matt was like, "I really want a steak." And when we rolled into the Hampton Inn, there's a Texas Roadhouse right next to us.
And I honest to God did. I honest to God did not know that.
I called bullshit on it, and I'm like, "There's no way he didn't know." But knowing Matt, he probably didn't know.
And if you follow us on Instagram, you know that I have a love for Miller High Lifes.
Lately, anyways.
Just not lately, my whole life. I mean, like ever since I was like a baby, I've loved them. No, I'm just kidding.
concerning.
And they had it on tap, which I'm gonna say it was really diacetyl though. It was really diacetyl. It was old and popcorny and buttery tasting, but we
But
slugged
anyways, the
down a
steak was
couple.
great.
Yeah, so I probably ate a whole pizza, a steak, French fries, a salad,
All the rolls.
all the rolls. Ryan didn't even have one of the rolls.
No.
And I'm here in a bunch of beer. I went to bed.
And whiskey.
Whiskey. So we're here.
Matt got drunk off of a shot of whiskey and a beer and a half.
I did. And then this morning I cried in the shower because I was
It was
so
a beautiful
hungover.
moment.
I haven't been hungover in a while. I forgot what it felt like. And listen, all I needed was a little bit of my supplements, vitamin B12, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, all that
A little
stuff.
shower poo.
Little shower poo. I'm good. I'm good. So we're here. And we're here with Phil from the Connecticut Brewers Guild,
Dun, dun, dun.
which sounded like a mouthful to me, but really it's not. Like it's not. It's not. And I'm excited to do this. If you've listened back, we've done Black Pond Brew, we've done
Epicure.
Epicure, and other Connecticut breweries. And I think we kind of all universally were like, we need to interview the Brewers Guild because there's a lot of laws in Connecticut that I wish would go to other states and I think would benefit a lot of the other states. And vice versa, right? I think every state has something that, like, if we could take all 50 brewer guilds and kind of make like this ideal state called Brewtopia. Like
Ooh.
where I don't think there'd be any rules. I just
No,
think it would be
just
like
no rules.
mayhem, but like because
It'd be
everyone
amazing.
probably has like
The
this
beer would
one
be
rule.
great.
Yeah, yeah. But specifically the New England beer scene, I think a couple of the rules would benefit everyone in New England, and especially it just takes not just beer, but it also takes cider, it takes distilling, mead, and so on and so forth, and brings it together and builds an awesome ecosystem for the beer scene. So we're going to get into this. So Phil, why don't you introduce yourself, your role at the Connecticut Brewers Guild, and how you fell in love with craft beer.
Very good question. So I just want to first off thank you all for having me. What you've been doing for brewing, providing platforms for them to talk about themselves, the history, the story behind the glass, things like that. So myself, I'm the executive director of the Connecticut Brewers Guild. We are the leading trade association that oversees all of Connecticut's 125.
Ooh.
Growing
Yep.
that
Nice.
number.
By the
But
time this releases, it could be 126, 127. You never know.
yeah, it's at that number. Everybody's like, "How many brews are there?" We are always on that number. So we're at 125
Nice.
breweries right now, and looking to open about 6 to 8 this year.
Awesome.
And all of that. So our role as the trade association is to lobby and advocate for all of Connecticut's craft breweries to protect and promote the industry. So we do that through lobbying and advocacy at the state legislature, with the governor's office, and with all the state departments and agencies that we work with. as well as all the town officials as well. Everybody from, fire marshals to the police to planning and zoning and Department of Public Health, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
The dark side of the brewing industry that nobody wants to talk about, right?
Yeah, and that's what I do on a daily basis. So, we the weekends when everybody comes to the tap rooms and they see these beautiful places and they have the great beer and enjoy it, there's so much work that goes behind that to allow that. Our association actually got its start in 2011 and 2012 when we passed the law to allow pints on site. So before 2012 in Connecticut, when you went to a brewery, you could just get it to go and that was it. Or you had to go to a package store or a bar or restaurant.
That's not even that long ago.
Right. That's 10 years.
Yeah.
This year. That's 10 years ago to think about that. And now at that time we had 11 breweries. We have 125. So
in 10 years.
In 10 years.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And we're not the only state that's done that and seen that growth. We've been working with a lot of other states and seeing that growth rate just project. And obviously the last 2 years have been extremely tough. We can talk a little bit about that if you want, what we've seen in the industry. But our association, getting back to it and what we do, and I'll answer your question about why I fell in love with craft beer, get to it. So, when all these breweries were up and coming in 2015, 2016, we went from about 30 to 40 breweries, and it seemed like there was a brewery everywhere at that time. Now there actually is. So what it seemed like breweries are popping up left and right. Our board of directors and our brewers that are made up of industry members, Jobina is actually our treasurer. So I know you were with her a couple weeks ago and months ago. But in regards to that, our board said, there's so many people, we don't even know what's going on. We need somebody who is going to be more of getting our corral together. Our lobbying needs to be strategic and planned. So they reached out, started doing some interviews. I was in nonprofit fundraising and management before, working with the board of directors for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, doing business development with them. Was there for about 5 years. And my coworker who became pregnant was looking for part-time work, and she found this job, and she ran into my office, closed the blinds, the doors, locked it, said, you need to apply for this job. And I read the job description, and it was the most glorious thing I've ever seen. It was
That's so great.
It was must love beer, protect the industry, help breweries, and I was just like, yes to everything. And I was like, I applied like immediately. I mean, and it's just been a dream job. Like, if I had to create a job for myself and like something that you are like, this is what I do for a living, this is it. Yeah. Like, I can't believe in the position of what we've done. I was a part-time marketing director, coordinator. We had a crappy logo, no website, no Instagram, like none of the things that we had as a brand of a company. And so my first entire year was building that, while also corralling all the breweries and saying, all right, this one just opened up in, East Haven. This one just opened up in New Haven. We had to corral everybody together, get everybody together, said, all right, what are the laws we want to look at? What are the things we want to look at? And so we started looking at direct-to-consumer sales. We looked at other states, what they're doing, and following a lot of the larger ones like New York, Mass, Texas, California, see what's going on in Colorado, try to bring that to Connecticut. We've been a state that's in between New York and Massachusetts for forever. Yep. And people will just stop and grab gas and keep going. Yeah. So how do we
casinos,
make casinos that are in the middle of nowhere?
Yep. Right.
Around there. I love going to Joe Meaden's place. I'm like, cool, you're 20 minutes from the casinos. But that's what we made Connecticut a destination, and that was our priority. So
cool.
I do want to know how you fell in love with craft beer.
Yes.
Yeah, but I also want to get into other stuff. So how'd you fall in love with craft beer?
Yeah, so I fell in love with craft beer when I was at my last nonprofit. I was bartending, just make some extra cash. I loved the industry, and I started working around a couple different bars and restaurants, and Firefly was on tap, and all these OGs were on tap, and I was just like, oh, this is good. And I'm like, this is made like 10 minutes down the road. Like, this is really cool. I'm like, and I fell in the whole artistry of it and the design that goes into it. I'm nowhere close to where I should be, but the scientific backgrounds of brewing and all the sciences behind that, I'm still learning, and it's something that I'm like, I go on brew days, I'm like, teach me everything you know. I've been more of the lobbyist, the advocacy, the laws. I could tell you every single subsection of every law around Connecticut, but now I'm trying to take that technical side into the brewing side now, and try to understand that a little bit more. But it was just, you saw this in the restaurants from the farm to table kind of aspect hit, 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And now
it's still here.
It's still here. Oh, absolutely. And it's cool. And it's kind of transitioned in the craft beer. And I just love that. I love knowing where your product's being made, the people behind it, and seeing the faces of the brewers and the people who put it together in the tap rooms. And you sit down and you have this beer, and it's like, yeah, it's beer. Yeah, it's beer. But you're seeing everything that goes into the building, everything that's going into the product that's in front of you, whatever it is. But this beer and I love beer. And you're seeing it, it's so wholesome. It's so good to see. You just kind of take a step back sometimes, and you're just like, oh, a lot of labor of love went into this.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, and if I can do my job and protect these businesses and help them grow and other people get to enjoy their product, what's better than that?
Where should the Connecticut Brewers Guild rank on a brewery that's opening, right? In like sense of priorities, right? You're dealing with local government, you're dealing with the federal boards, you're dealing with cash flow, and like maybe you're probably working a full-time job. So like, why do you matter? Why would, if I was, Matt's Brewery in Hamden, Connecticut, why would I want to come and work with the Connecticut Brewers Guild?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. And when we have people that are aspiring to grow, one is the connections to the people who are doing it, right? You want to get in front of the Philip Markowskis of the world, right? The people who are out there and writing the book on beer. You want to get in front of them. So we have phenomenal relationships with every single craft brewery in the state. So it's getting together as a community, getting together in a cohesive, collaborative environment to talk about the beer or how do I open this tap room. I've helped so many breweries open up. I've even picked out logo designs, colors. I've helped them with, right now, we're in the middle of opening up New England Brewing Company in West Haven. So we work with the town who's never had a brewery in town on their specific language around manufacturing to allow that with significant retail sales in the city of West Haven. So working with the town to provide that language. So it's everything from the front of the house and actually growing and the resources that we have for brewing, but also with do you need a builder? Who are you using for your POS? Do you have a glycol technician? Do you have an HVAC guy? Like all these different people are at our arsenal that we can say, hey, here are the people who have done it at this place. Are you doing a garage door? Because I got a guy. Like that's kind of the
garage doors. They're still in 2021. 2022.
Forever.
I didn't think they were ever going to make a deal. I remember seeing like a brewery with a garage door. I was like, that's never going to work. Boom.
It
always
best.
works. It works. It's great.
Yeah. Have you been to back east yet?
No, not yet.
Two beautiful open doors that go to their patio in the back there.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Done.
But sold.
We're helping. The reason why you need to come to the guild is because we have 1.5 million resources. We have the knowledge. We have the experience. And if I don't know it myself, I have our entire board of directors that are there, but also our entire industry to say, hey, you're looking at doing something unique, whether it's a brewing style or something you want to install in your tap room, go to that person.
Cool. All right. So we got to keep the lights on here, but I am curious about like some of the laws since 2011 where like it took Connecticut from 11 breweries to 125. So sponsors, we'll listen to them, but you're going to come back to this and it's going to be amazing. So take it away, sound guy Ryan.
Did you know that your favorite Massachusetts breweries use hops from a local family-owned hop farm right here in Massachusetts?
Our friends over at 4 Star Farms are there for you whether you're a commercial brewery or a small batch home brewer.
Make sure to head over to their website today and get your hands on some of the best and freshest hops available locally. Cheers.
At our local homebrew shop, Beer and Wine Hobby, you can get everything you need to make beer, wine, cider, cheese, and more. Not sure where to start? They have knowledgeable staff there to help. Beer and Wine Hobby is family-owned and located in Danvers, Massachusetts. Visit their website, beer-wine.com, and use our promo code BREWS for 10% off your online order today.
Shirts on Tap is the box subscription service for craft beer lovers. Each month, Shirts on Tap partners up with 7 different breweries from across the country and collaborates on a sweet custom shirt design. We've been teamed up with Shirts on Tap since the inception of the podcast and are proud to announce a new promo code for all of our listeners. To get your first shirt for $5 off, go to the link in our description below and use the promo code. And remember, drink better beer, wear better shirts.
So in 2011, you said brewers in Connecticut couldn't even serve a pint. What are some of the laws in between that has grown Connecticut's beer scene from 11 breweries to like 125?
Yeah, so when we passed that law, that's pretty much what projected everyone to open. You know, they saw the ability that you can come to a tap room and enjoy it. So that really started the trend. And of course, everything happened nationwide. So since 2011, we've been working as a guild. We had a massive bill pass with flying colors, I think, you know, a 98% voting yes on our SB 647, which was the largest bill since Prohibition to change Connecticut liquor laws. It was 80 plus pages of laws.
Oh my God.
A lot of work that went into that. And our general law committee, I give them props for taking that on and going through that. But our guild was at the forefront of that. We had multiple conversations with them, sitting down with them, helping them draft the language, going through that with other industries, including the Restaurant Association, Package Store Association, the Wholesalers Association, wineries, distilleries, cideries, etc. And we all sat in a big room at Thomas Hooker and went line by line and said, all right, this is everything we discussed. Went through that big bill, but that bill modernized so many things. So we got the allowance to sell directly to consumers 9 gallons of beer. So before that, it was only 9 liters of beer.
Wow.
So being regional folks yourself, you're familiar with Treehouse in Massachusetts and
Yes.
other states that don't have limits. We ranked as Connecticut 47th in the amount of beer that you can buy directly from the person making it. Like,
Do you know who was below you?
mind-boggling.
Do you know who was below you?
Rhode Island.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe Maryland was as well.
Wow.
But
Crazy.
Rhode Island, they're still working hard
Yeah,
on
they
that.
are.
We're
Yeah.
helping them. They used us saying, "Hey, look what Connecticut did," you know, and hey, can we get this increased? So, just for instance, we were the only ones listing it in liters. Just doesn't equate. to
Yeah, that's what I was
we do.
thinking. Liter
It's-
is
yeah,
like,
it doesn't make
why?
sense. Yeah. You want to talk about how outdated? Like, just,
Yeah, that's
it's
crazy.
in the wrong metric. Like, so we got that 9 liters, and again, that was 19 16-ounce cans. So you had to break up a 4-pack, like things that just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know,
Weird.
growlers. People had conversion sheets behind the bar. It was just insane. So we had that conversation. We brought up cans to the public hearing and said, this is what it is. It's not even a full case. Prove that, and that was the biggest thing that we passed, which is phenomenal. So again, we were showing that other states, people are driving 30 minutes over the border into Massachusetts,
Yeah.
getting a hand cart,
Right.
buying 5 cases of beer, and God only knows how much money,
Right.
loading it in the car and driving into the state of Connecticut, distributing it between all their friends who were texting them, hey, get me this.
Yep.
You know.
Right.
And I'm like, this is happening 30 minutes over our borders, you know, and borders, but you know.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But still,
This is happening.
You're not supporting
This can happen
Connecticut.
in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And everybody makes money in the state, and it's good.
Yeah.
Keep people here. Bring people here.
Right. Right.
So we were able to do that. We also allowed the ability for people to get 2 beers when they go up to the bar. Something that we saw that people were just going up and getting 1 beer, and they're like, oh, I'm grabbing it for my friend, whatever. Little thing in there. But again, it's just little antiquated laws that we needed to pass. We also allowed for a seasonal open air beer permit. So breweries now can set up beer gardens in a park garden area in the city that they can set up, have a food truck on site, and they can actually serve beer
Yeah.
outside of where their tap room is.
Awesome.
We saw that during COVID. Obviously, people were
Doing
changing their
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're throwing anything against the wall.
anything. Yeah.
Seriously.
So we saw that ability, and that got passed through there. The other big thing we passed was the Connecticut Craft Cafe permit, which allows any alcohol permit holder, manufacturer permit to sell anything else made in the state. So Connecticut cider, Connecticut wine, Connecticut spirits,
Yep.
all on site.
That's awesome. And when was that passed?
2019.
Okay.
My question is where obviously laws are I hate to say stolen, but like, you know, it's where did you find that law, like in another state? What other states are doing that?
So we actually saw that our liquor control and our Department of Consumer Protection had about 72 different types of permits for alcohol in the state.
Oh
so
my God.
taverns, cafes,
That's insane.
bowling alleys, and
Yeah.
all these different places. Anywhere you can find alcohol, there was a permit for it. We had 5 for breweries, and there was no need for it. All of us were on a combo permit. So we actually consolidated those down to 30-ish, 35,
Wow.
36 different types of permits. We made one manufacturer for beer. And then we took an a la carte style where breweries now can add on different permits based upon what the types of alcohol that they sell. So they can add on a Connecticut Craft Cafe permit, which is relatively cheap. It's an introductory one where they can sell any other thing made in the state of Connecticut. Then we also have a restaurant liquor permit that they can add on as well. That gives them the full bar experience. So
Very cool.
we had those conversations with general law, just kind of looking at where breweries are and, concerns that they had in regards to how much breweries are selling, and when breweries are just having a couple offerings for things. So we are continuing those conversations into this legislature to be able to tweak those and allow those to have a little bit more allowances for breweries, lower the type of food permits that are really required for breweries to have for a restaurant, not having the full kitchen experience, things like that. So we're continuing to have that conversation and update that. Which is why we need to be at the forefront of the Capitol and the legislature to be able to have those conversations, say, hey, all right, this is, especially during COVID, this is what we learned. This is kind of what we're seeing. Let's take a look at this. Let's tweak that, do something there.
Yeah.
So in 2019, how did you convince them to be like, we can serve other products?
So we had the full bar kind of experience before, but we wanted to make it, Connecticut centric. So
Yeah.
that's why the permit price is so low.
Gotcha.
So be able to sell that. And again, in the state, we have about 10 or 12 different cideries. We have about 45 different wineries.
Oh, wow.
So people are out there, and we want to be able to have our beer at those places as well. So if you go to a winery, go to a cidery, pick up a local beer as well. We're seeing, obviously, when people go and visit breweries, someone in the group is like, oh, I'm a wine drinker, or I'm a cider drinker,
right.
I don't really drink beer,
Yeah.
We'll get them there. Don't worry. But, there's always that person. But there's the inverse when people visit wineries, they're like, I'm not really a wine drinker, or I don't really drink Connecticut wine, or whatever.
Yeah.
Want to have a good IPA available. So
Sure.
something that we looked at to be able to support everyone, where no matter where you go in the state of Connecticut, at these local places, you can at least have something available to you.
Yeah.
So now, but like in the court side of things, like how did you convince?
Yeah, with
No.
like money projections.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely money projections, fiscal notes to that as well, proving how much of those sales would be coming back and how much those are, whether it's excise tax or how much of the sales are going back into the breweries that are ultimately helping them grow. We had to have meetings, obviously, with the distributors, with the wholesalers, with our retailers, bars and restaurants as well. So we had this big beer summit, got all the people together up at HDI in Hartford, all sat down in their building. It was like 50 people there. And we all said, hey, we want to sell more beer.
Yeah.
In the end, and had to prove to them that ultimately when breweries make more money, they're going to reinvest that. We saw that in 3 different areas. They're going to add more jobs, they're going to add more manufacturing, and they're going to start distributing more. With that means that distributors, or ultimately brewers, are going to get to the point of signing up with a distributor quicker. Usually we were seeing around a 4 to 5 year turnaround time until somebody starts distributing themselves or with a wholesaler. And we knew, and we kind of saw projections that would kind of come in on the 3-year mark.
Yeah. Massachusetts, we know there's a lot of people fighting against distributors. I'm not trying to get in any slippery slopes, but sometimes you are locked into a deal that's not great for a brewery. Is that something that Connecticut's fighting for?
Yeah, that's a long-term goal of the Connecticut Brewers Guild and our breweries is franchise law reform. Massachusetts just passed it.
Yeah.
So happy for them and Katie.
It's huge.
And I'm like, hey, look at this.
Isn't this cool, you guys?
Look at what Mass is doing. Yeah. We're kind of a state that's playing catch up a lot. So, something that Maine did as well in New York as well. There's examples not only in the Northeast, but across the country that we're using. We're seeing some franchise law reforms have specific barrel caps and percentage of portfolio caps. So we're taking a look at that of where we are in Connecticut and also where our distributors are on their end to say, hey, I would hate for a distributor to lose 40% of the business, or whatever number. So we're looking at if you're under a certain percent cap, whether that be 3, 5, somewhere in between that or higher, something that we're looking at here in the States. So that's a long-term goal. Also in the legislature, we passed the ability for breweries to actually have, and all alcohol manufacturers to have multiple manufacturing permits. So that was our big bill in 2019 that we passed. One of the stipulations in that was allowing the breweries to add on a manufacturer wine permit.
Yep.
They want to get into the spirit
okay.
business. They can go into that. They want to make cider. They can do that. So now any permit holder can add on a permit. Before it was you had to find a business partner, a different permittee name. You had to have it in a different building with a firewall in between, at least separating it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of money that goes into it when it's all on the same facility. So due to local zoning, things like that, you can have it. There's been a couple breweries that are adding those different types. So Two Roads is now adding their spirit side of their business as well, and making cocktails. Reverie over in Newtown just added cider, so now they're producing cider. So we're seeing that as well, and I'm very excited. We haven't really seen much of it, but I'm excited in the future, hopefully, if wineries and cideries and distilleries kind of get into the beer business, kind of seeing that influx in the universe as well.
Definitely. We've been seeing it. You were just saying, we talked to Al Far from the Tree, and he wanted to get more into wine. So it's something like that. It'd be really cool to see cider and wine more together. And yeah, it's a cool idea.
Yeah, and in the across the industry, you're seeing these blurred lines of products and RTD,
Right.
ready to drink
Definitely.
cocktails, and all these different things that are kind of becoming very blurred. And so we want to be able to produce those products ourselves and
Definitely.
keep that in house.
Yeah. Let's talk numbers for a little bit. Who's producing the most liquid in the state?
Two Roads.
Yeah, I figured.
Obviously.
Do you know what the smallest brewery is?
Our smallest brewery is a few. I would say we do have a handful of breweries that make less than like 300 barrels a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. Those breweries that brew less than 300 barrels a year, right? They now have that option if they choose to use that Connecticut permit.
Correct.
To bring in other people's lines, So if you're not able to, produce more beer because it's really a side project for you or, whatever,
yeah.
you have that option to have someone else's product come in and really enjoy it. So why aren't other states looking into this law?
I'm sure they are.
Okay.
The biggest opposition to that is obviously our bars and restaurants.
I was
who obviously are struggling, and we are struggling as much.
Yeah, right.
So when you have bars and restaurants, they can, the thing that we have conversations with the legislature is they could buy anything from any producer in the world. They could have Belgian beers if they want.
Yeah.
Like strictly Belgian beers if they want. They could choose whatever they want. We don't have that option. We make it ourselves. So we create products and things like that. So we just want to be able to have some offerings. And we want to help each other. We're such a collaborative environment. I think sometimes that is not really known as much as, when it's funny, we always said this, if a bar's ice machine breaks down, go next door, hey, I need ice.
No. Yeah.
We have a Facebook page and we have a membership portal that people go onto, and they're like, hey, I have 20 pounds of Cascade. Anybody wants it? It's 5 requests.
Right.
People are
Right.
constantly sharing ingredients, constantly sharing ideas, collaborative. And I think that's just still something that needs to be we are communicating as much as we can, but it just needs to be a little bit more understood that we are such a collaborative environment. We want to be able to say, hey, you're making such a great product. I want to put it on my tap, share it with the world.
Yeah.
Especially with how many breweries are opening up. It's you got to have the insider knowledge of who's opening up, what beer's good, things like that. If you're across state lines, be like, hey, they're only a half hour down the road. It's not that far. You got to go visit them. Constantly having that tourism that we're seeing as well.
Yeah. How does the Brewers Guild make money?
So we make money through fundraising. So we have beer festivals.
Yep.
So we have our festival coming up next month, actually March 26th at the Oakdale Theater. It is by far our largest fundraiser. Something that I'm very excited to bring back. We would have been on our fifth year.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had to postpone in 2020. Unfortunately, we were 10 days away from having our event.
Oh, 10 days away and you had to postpone?
Yeah, that was.
Ouch.
I'm not bitter at all.
No, don't be. Yeah, no.
I'm not still having nightmares about it. No.
And then last year you didn't have one either, right?
We did have one last year.
Okay.
We postponed our March
Awesome.
25th one or whatever it was in 2020 to 4 or 5 different dates. And we ultimately had it on October 9th at the Oakdale. So it seems like it was only a few months ago, and it is. So we're excited to bring it back.
That's awesome.
Get everybody out there. But we have about 2,500 people that come out, 60 breweries. We're bringing in 20 different vendors, have a little bit of a marketplace as well.
Love it.
It's all run by the Guild. Me.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah, with conjunction with our board of directors and all that. So it's a great showcase. Beer festivals are the best way. And then we also participate in other events around the state. So we have a really exciting event happening at Lime Rock Park at the racetrack up there in May. We also have a peach festival that we do at Lyman Orchards in August. And we're partnering with a couple other people to put on beer festivals around. And then membership. So we're a 501c6 organization. Breweries do pay membership to be part of our organization. And then we have allied and associate members. Yep. So like I said, those glycol technicians and kind of that business development side. I don't want to say Chamber of Commerce but kind of like that.
Yeah. And you have a CT Beer Week, I assume, as well?
Yeah, we actually have a whole month.
Oh, I love that.
So
That's awesome.
the governor in 2020 signed signed a letter saying that September is Connecticut Craft Beer Month. So it's the entire month.
That's awesome.
So we are working on getting some really cool deals and offers and all of that for the entire month. We are looking at doing a pint week as well.
Yeah.
So 1 week during the week, we'll be able to go out to breweries and buy specific cool glassware.
Yeah.
And come out for it and all of that and have that for the week, which is really cool. So
Love it.
yeah.
So a couple weeks ago, there was a little beer summit between the New England states and New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to get into that.
Yeah.
First, we got some sponsorships. So take it away, sound guy Ryan.
Are you a solo artist, band, podcaster, or anyone else who needs recording services?
Well, we got a place for you where your vision can become a reality.
Welcome to Small Pond Studios, built by hand with heart and sweat equity by musicians for musicians.
Go to smallpondstudios.io to reach out to get more information. And make sure you let them know that Brew sent you. Hey, Sound Guy Ryan here. Didn't know if you heard, but we're a part of the Hopped Up Network. There you'll find other informative podcasts about beer. So go ahead, follow them on social media, and visit them on their website, hoppedupnetwork.com, to learn more about the people, beer, and breweries from around the country. And until next time, thanks for listening. Cheers.
So let's talk about this beer summit. Katie from the Mass Brewers Guild. She shared it on her Facebook, so we saw it. And what is like a New England and New York beer summit kind of talk about?
Yeah, so we were up in New Hampshire a couple months ago, and with all the New England State Guild directors. So myself, Paul from New York, Katie from Mass. We had Melissa from Vermont, CJ from New Hampshire, and Sean from Maine.
Great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great. You remembered all their names.
I don't even know.
We're best friends.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it.
Do you guys have a group chat?
Oh, yeah.
Does
We have a
anyone
Slack
not
channel.
have an iPhone and there's a green message?
Yeah, of course.
God, kick them out.
I don't know who it is.
Is it you?
No, it's not me. I got to look back on it.
Yeah.
We also have a Slack channel with all the other state guild directors in the
Love
entire
it.
country.
What,
which is
really?
great. So, yeah.
Whoa.
So
That's crazy.
we are part of the Brewers Association. So the Brewers Association, our national one, working on federal issues that we are also working on with our congressional leaders. But we get together as a group and as an association of Brewers Guilds and get together at CBC, GABF. We have a hill climb happening in June. So we'll all go down to DC, meet with our congressional leaders about the federal issues that are going on to collect their co-sponsorships and support of any grants or any bills that are being passed through Congress. And so we are constantly communicating with one another about what's going on. We're sharing resources. Like I said, if it's knowing that we're the 47th state in direct consumer sales, I need all that data from everybody else. So Bart Watson is our chief economist at the BA, who's done a phenomenal job collecting and surveying all of the guilds, letting us and sharing that information with all of us about what's going on, where are the numbers with everybody, where do we rank as a state in terms of production or jobs or economic impact, and what else is going on. We also have our general counsel and our government affairs teams that keep us updated about anything they have going on. So Mark and Katie are phenomenal at that, and we're adding a couple staff to that as well, which is phenomenal. But we all got together, and most of us are one staff operations with board of directors, and I think. Yeah, Vermont has 2 and New York has 4.
What?
And we're like, what?
That's crazy.
So, we just got together and we were like, how you doing?
Yeah.
And, we're all like,
It was like a therapy section.
it was.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so CJ, the director of New Hampshire, and I put the agenda together and we were like, let's leave like 30 minutes in the first 9 to 9:30 is going to be just vent.
Yeah.
Tell me how you're feeling.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel a lot better after that meeting.
That's
no,
good.
It was, as a staff of one, we have our board of directors and obviously communication with all the breweries and stuff like that. Most of our conversations are like, how you doing? How's your tap room? What can we do about the 6-foot distancing rules and curfews and things like that? And then was able to actually really feel good talking with them saying, how are you feeling as a director? There was an article posted about a couple other in the Midwest. There was a couple of directors that got interviewed, and it was just like, you all need to buy your director a pint. Like,
Yeah, right. No, seriously. Right.
We were just working for the last 2 years to keep these businesses open, keep our breweries, and whether it's drive-throughs, curbside pickup, like whatever it was, we were like, we need to do it. So we were all just kind of talking about fundraising ideas. Picked up some phenomenal resources from them in terms of, whether it's bylaw changes, code of conducts, or it would be any partnerships that are happening, sharing resources, and just talking all together about, what people are doing.
Yep.
And it was just, it's good to talk to your peers. It's good to talk to leaders around the country that are doing good things and for their states and pulling some ideas and all of that. So it's really, really good to get together with them all the time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
A lot of states individually do beer passports.
Yeah.
Is there any talk of like a New England passport? I mean, this area, I people say like regions, right? Like, Connecticut, Colorado, Portland, Oregon. Like, our region, in my opinion, has the best beer scene, right? You can go to a number of states and get so many different world-class styles of beer. But it seems like we are...
don't necessarily really work together.
Yeah, it seems like it's 6-7 different states, and it is, right? But it's not like it's never considered like the New England region, right? It's like Portland, Maine.
Boston.
We got to go to Allagash. We got to go to Bissell, right? Massachusetts. We got to go to Trios. We got to go to Trillium, right? It's like those are great breweries. Don't get me wrong. We've interviewed most of those people that we just mentioned, but there's so many breweries in between that aren't getting the national acknowledgement that,
but still making amazing beer.
And is it because we're not treating this area as a region and we're treating it as an individual state?
Yeah, there definitely is some truth to that. I think most of the New England guilds have their own passport program with the same one that we have, with the same development.
Oh, yours is so much better, I have to say.
Thank you.
The Massachusetts?
It changes colors when you've been to the brewery.
Oh, that's a cool feature.
Love it. It's like the only thing. It's like it's so great.
Little things.
It is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we have. We were kind of on the newer version of that.
Clearly,
app, so,
yes.
and they're still working to update that and things like that. There's just so much information that I saw. I was like, we just need to keep it passport.
Yeah.
Check in.
Yeah.
Stamp your passport.
Keep it simple.
Know who it is. And directions to it.
Yeah.
Save a trail.
Right.
To your point there, I think absolutely. When I go to Portland, Maine, I text Sean. I'm like, hey, Sean, where am I going? I'm coming up for 2 days. Got, 8 breweries. Where am I going? So, and he'll send me the list. And most of that, they're most of the inner work, the medium breweries that are out there, the ones that are not really that popular, well known nationally yet.
But we're
I do the same.
Really lucky in that. Not to interrupt you, but we're really lucky in that respect. Like, we could text, so on and so forth to say that. But what's bringing people to those areas is those more known ones. So how do we get those lesser ones known to the people that?
Yeah, I think honestly, it's through a passport, it's through the guilds. There are so many other people that are promoting beer in other states too, and it's just being involved in the industry, right? And I think that what I always do, and I found myself doing this before I was even in my position, was when I was at those larger name breweries, I would ask the bartender, I'm like, all right, where do I go grab food? Where do I go grab coffee? Where am I going to go grab my next beer? And they're like, oh, you have to go here, ask for Kate, get it. They're giving the information. I have no problem doing that. Something that I don't really see in other industries. When I go to a brewery, I'm like, hey, and they're like, they have no problem telling me the 3 people I could have gone to and spend my money in.
Competition,
like,
in a sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. How many interviews have we gotten off of piggybacking on another interview or something like that? It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's all just part of that understanding and that collaboration and that cohesive industry that I believe that we have and something that I don't see in other industries.
Absolutely.
Do you guys have any plans though for any kind of New England
passport
thing?
Yeah, we've been talking, just trying to come up with ideas. We had a few going into 2020 of like, hey, how can we do? Sean from Maine has this huge beer truck, and we're all like, oh, let's do this massive event. We'll all bring beer up and take 3 of the taps. We're still talking that out.
Working on that.
Working on that. GABF was one of the biggest things that we had going, which was great. There's some construction going on at the Colorado Convention Center, but if you're not familiar with the Great American Beer Festival, there was a section at the event that was state guilds. Ooh. So we all went out and we brought like 8 beers for the whole weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and we were all at the Colorado Convention Center and giving beer out. And we're all next to one another.
Yeah.
I remember my first year going out, I brought Fuzzy Baby Ducks from Nebco, which such a popular beer in Connecticut. People were waiting 3 hours outside.
Oh my God.
Nebco. They were only releasing it twice a year. So it had this really cool.
That's huge.
And the can design, if you haven't seen it, is like a unicorn farting a rainbow. Oh my God. This Fuzzy
Something
Baby
ridiculous.
Duck is like riding. It's just like this whole colorful rainbow can. And we're all in alphabetical order in the convention center. I'm, of course, next to Colorado, right? Yeah. Heavy hitters. You got Colorado beer. Yeah. And I'm sitting there, and I had a line of 30 people, like,
dang,
coming up, and I was like,
what up, Colorado?
I was like, look to my Colorado as like one person.
Yeah.
And everybody's coming up. They're like, oh, can I have that like unicorn rainbow? Like, the names that people are throwing are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And, after a beer festival, you're having a couple samples. People are like, I need that fart beer, and all these things, right? I'm like, Fuzzy Baby Ducks, take a picture, tag Nebco. Like, right. Just going, and I just kept slinging this Fuzzy Baby Ducks. That's phenomenal. So funny. But getting back to it, something that we're looking at maybe as a region, getting together as New England guilds to be able to say, hey, we can bring 5, 6, 7, 10 beers to a place. Yeah. I want it in Connecticut, obviously. So still working on that,
I mean, you're kind of far south. Yeah. Massachusetts kind of in the middle. Like,
Connecticut. It's not that far.
I don't know.
It's not that far.
I'd love it.
I'd
love it anywhere in New England, so I don't have to travel that far. But what's the leading beer style in Connecticut?
It's definitely New England. Still reigning supreme here. I think, to be honest, even myself, I found a little dry on them lately. I'm just, myself, I'm just not going for them anymore. You were talking about Miller High Lifes before. I'll tell you a story about that. But I think people are kind of going to the Brewers beers now, the light lagers.
We've been noticing that too.
Yeah, I kind of see that trending. I don't think it will outsell New England IPAs in the next few years, but I think it's making its way out there. Breweries love brewing it, and they'll put it on, and people love coming to it. But I think that we're looking for that next kind of style. Yeah. So I think people, especially with how many breweries there are, you're visiting 2, 3, maybe 4 breweries, you do. And, if you're having a couple beers, you want to be responsible, of course, so if you're on the beach, you want to have these kind of lighter styles to be able to try more, have a flight, you're not feeling so bloated or, a lot of these New England IPAs can be 8%. You're hitting.
They're full meals.
Yeah.
It's funny. We did have a New England style IPA this morning at 8 a.m.
Yeah, love it. 8%.
Yeah, it was 8%. I only drank half of it, so it's only 4%, right? It was basically a salad.
That's how that works.
It was basically a salad, right?
Yeah,
so.
Just a salad.
Yeah, so when we were at CBC in Nashville a couple years ago, and we were at Tootsie's, if you're familiar with Broadway and Nashville, and there's 13,000 brewery owners, operators, and taproom staff running around Nashville, for CBC. And we go to Tootsie's, this rooftop bar, and we go up top, and I go to the bar. I'm like, give me your New England IPA, and I get this 8% beer, and I walk over to the group, and I look down, and the whole table's filled with these Miller High Lifes. And I'm like, no, the devil.
What have I done?
No. I'm like, it's macro, and I'm just like, no. And they're all like, I've had 12 of these, and I drive a forklift.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Chugging this like 8% IPA in like hot Nashville during the summer. I'm like, this makes sense.
Yep.
I have a lot to learn. So, but it's just funny looking back on that. I'm just like, that people just respect other people's brews, and we'll always try anything. The style, people are all over the place on the brewery side.
Yeah, I really think what Connecticut's doing is awesome.
Killing it.
Implore. I know Katie listens. Katie, I know you're probably fighting for this. You got a million other things going on. So don't worry, we're really kidding. But I just can see the benefit of that. I'm going to butcher the name of it now, but where you can serve
the
other
cafe,
people.
The Connecticut Cafe.
Yeah,
right.
Connecticut Craft Cafe.
Erica was listening.
Yeah. we need a Massachusetts craft cafe. I think that really will push a lot of breweries in the direction that we need, especially during COVID right now. Why not make it more inclusive?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, one of the things that we have in the Connecticut Craft Cafe is the 20% sales threshold. So you can't sell more of other people's products.
More than yours.
More than,
Correct.
Yeah.
more than yours. Obviously, the focus is going to be on yours. And I don't think anybody's close to that, to be honest. I think a lot of people are just, in the...
where we've seen it's
the
like one or two
options.
tap lines and a couple bottles of liquor.
Yeah, it's options. It's, and obviously it's promoting local, it's somebody who's made up right here in the States. So it's options for people when you're visiting. Here's a cider, here's a wine, or here's a liquor to keep you happy, keep the group there.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're in New Haven right now, physically. We always ask our guests when we go abroad, best dive bar. We're in New Haven, so we're going to ask the best pizza. I know you already said it. Did you say it on the intro?
He did.
He said it on the intro?
Yeah.
We can go back.
Sally's and Modern.
Yeah. We can, all right, that's fine. Best place to get a steak. And I don't know. Or steak or hamburger? Should we do steak or hamburger?
Hamburgers.
Hamburger. Best place to get a hamburger. All right, your eyes lit up. And, best craft cocktail bar.
Ooh, wow. All right, so a couple options here. We'll start with pizza.
Yeah, just throw it out again. Yeah,
All right, yeah. So I'm a modern Sally's and bar. So bar is actually a brewery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little homage to my heart. I went to Quinnipiac right up the road. Just never really left Connecticut.
Yep.
They have my soul now. And bar was the place you went to on Saturday nights, and you would always leave with mashed potato bacon pizza.
Yeah, so I saw that on the menu. Yeah.
And it was, I just sometimes remember, but you're in the shuttle back to Quinnipiac with the mashed potato bacon pizza, and just
Classic.
so that always holds a little place in my heart. But Moderns and Sally's have been great. They're phenomenal. Burger. You have to go to Louis' lunch, and that's the thing, is that if you are not from the area or you're not familiar with Louis, you got to go to Louis.
We're going to Louis.
We're done. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Gotta have Louis. It's just a staple. It's just something you have to do. I'm gonna do not ask for ketchup. You will
Okay.
get thrown out.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, I love those type of
'Cause
places that like.
I like ketchup,
Yeah.
so I won't ask for that. That's
I saved.
would have been
I,
killed.
Saved your life.
Yeah, literally.
Just that is a thing. You do not ask.
Okay.
I got to
Noted.
I grew up in New Jersey, so pizza's been a very big topic for me. Half my life I've been used to New Jersey, New York pizza, and then now I have Connecticut pizza.
Which one's better?
I'm still torn. It's two, in my opinion, my honest opinion, they're two very different types of pizza. When you have New Jersey, New York pizza, it's the foldable, it's a larger crust. And what we have in New Jersey is like brick oven. And that's what reminds me of New Haven pizza.
Yeah.
New Haven
Yeah,
pizza's
it's
got
very
that-
similar.
The char crust, and don't get me wrong, I love it. It's just a different type of
Yeah, it's different.
pizza to me,
Okay.
So I can't choose.
It's like choosing your favorite brewery.
Yeah.
I won't ask you that.
Yeah,
It's kind of like,
appreciate that.
yeah, it's probably not very
of
good for him to.
Honestly.
What's your least favorite? No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
right. Even better. Yeah. And then a craft cocktail.
Yeah, craft cocktail.
Ooh, dive bar too. You said that. Don't let me forget
Yeah,
about that. But
yeah.
craft cocktail. You have to go to. I like Elm City Social.
Okay. And what's their drink of like choice for you?
They actually have a duck drink that you get a little,
they have a duck
fuzzy
drink. Good,
duck in it.
good.
I am more of an old fashioned kind of. So what I like to do is I go to Elm City Social, and then I pop next door to Owl Shop and it's a cigar lounge. So I have a cigar, and
Nice.
then I just go with my Manhattans and old fashions.
Yeah, yeah.
And kind of go down the bourbon list and things.
Solid
Yeah.
time.
And dive bar.
Yeah, dive bar 3 sheets, I would say.
3 sheets.
They have a phenomenal craft beer list too.
Ooh.
One of the more underrated places that I would say for you wouldn't really look to them as
Alright.
they have a great tap list. We also I'm a little partial. We've done a lot of events over there, so we worked with 16-ounce canvas and did some art shows for more of our creative label designs and things like that with our brewers out there. So Yeah.
And last question for me.
yeah,
Your opinion on smoked beers?
smoked beers. Ooh, I like them.
Okay.
I will have one. I again.
This is a very political answer. I feel.
It's loaded.
I like them. Listen, I've had good ones and I've also had horrible ones. I think that it needs to be more of a subtle smoke flavor to it. If it's just going to punch you in the face, leave you with a dry mouth, I'm going to pass on it. You kind of still need that
Like drinking
maltiness.
straight wood.
Yeah.
Just
Maybe.
Maybe he does. I don't know.
Yeah. One of the first craft beer bars I worked in, we actually would smoke some Jack Daniels barrels and do some cocktails with that.
that's
and I would
fun.
just love to see if we could do that with a beer too.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I like the aroma more and of the actual mouthfeel of
You like the premise of it. It's
yeah.
just- yeah.
Yeah. You know, when it comes up to your nose and your mouth and you start, taking it in, that's more of I want that to come in. I
Yeah.
don't want to be tasting straight burn in the back end.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Ryan,
I love it.
Erica, you got anything more?
No, this was so beautiful. I loved it.
So let me ask you, I got questions for you.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah. What's your favorite beer?
What's my favorite beer?
Yeah.
Like ever?
Style.
Okay, style.
Let's go
We can work with style.
Yeah.
I have to say Kolsch, and the only reason is because of the Schnitt style glassware is the perfect vessel for beer, in my opinion, because it's
pretty great.
small, it's perfect, and it just tastes good. Kolsch is great. We advocate for summer of Kolsch like every summer. So
Got
it's
it.
like
Got it.
probably
So
Kolsch.
it's more for the glassware for you.
Yeah,
At least for that one, it's the whole experience, right?
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
gone to Kolsch nights before, and they
Yeah.
serve it like very like traditional, where you get a Kolsch, that
You just
put a notch on
yeah.
your drink, and it's
Yeah.
just a great experience. But yeah, the glassware is great. I mean, like I have a couple of the schnitzels, and I'm like, perfect. It's half a can, 8 ounces. It's great.
Yeah.
It's probably not 8 ounces. I apologize, but I don't know what it really is. But it's great. But that's for me, Ryan.
All of them
Great
that
answer.
are not
Oh,
pastry stouts because those are gross. And any, I don't know, I'm trying to think, any sour that tries to get cute, when they start putting like other things in there,
Got it.
changing the texture of it.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah,
like the
not a
slushy
fan.
ones.
Yeah,
got
like
it.
the slushy stuff, or like it tastes like a milkshake like texture. It's weird.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the smoothie.
yeah, the smoothies.
sours,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those. No.
There are millions of.
But I would say lager pilsners is what I'd like to gravitate towards. But
Yeah.
I like a great black lager or anything like that. I
Yeah.
love like the mix of like the roastiness where it's not overpowering, but it's still really light beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been digging those lately.
Yeah. Right up the road, East Rock Brewing. Definitely have to go
They've
there.
been on my list,
Yes.
and they're not open today.
I know. They typically will have like a black lager
Yeah.
or something comparable to it. So we'll
Next
have to get
time.
you over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
What's yours?
I'm into hoppy lagers.
Okay.
Oh, also a great choice.
Yeah.
yeah.
Based on your comment,
Yeah.
it was the kind of combo of best of
Right,
both worlds.
right.
It's still got that lager feel to it. It's still got that, but I'm still
Little
getting
bit
some
of bite.
happiness.
Yeah.
A little bit of,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit of
Are
kick.
we calling those cold IPAs yet?
Yeah, no, we have Sylvaticus right near us that
Yeah.
have been doing those hoppy lagers. Those are really nice.
Yeah, they are.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah, they're usually around that 4 to 5%.
Exactly.
Very
I have a
sessional.
couple of those.
Yeah,
Yep.
but yeah, that's the style I've been going for.
Love it.
I'm sure many of our listeners are listening to this episode in their car right now, wishing they could have one of these beers, but we're actually going to have one of those beers after this episode. So drive safe, have a great day at work, and we'll see you guys
Bye.
next week. Cheers.
Cheers.